you're the one that,
I feel like I always have
you're a
to
lemon.
preface this by saying that I do not watch AEW television. Like, I don't watch the shows. So if you want to completely disregard any opinion that I have, even though at the end of the day it's professional wrestling, feel free. But I do want to talk about the viral clip from Blood and Guts of the what appears to be unprotected headshot on Jack Perry, and it's caused like a massive debate online with some smarks claiming that the chair was gimmicked. Of course, they they all say that. I think a lot of it is just AEW tribalists who just want to defend the company at any cost, because at the end of the day,
That's my lemon.
You aren't going to know if the chair is gimmicked or not. Didn't seem like it, didn't look like it. And given the history of Jack Perry and the crazy things that he is willing to do, I really would not be surprised if that was a legit headshot. We just, whatever. So if we're just going to accept it for what we believe was a legit headshot, I just want to I want to ask people on what planet do we need unprotected headshots in professional wrestling in 2024? That's what I want to understand. Have we not been taught enough about, let's just look at wrestling. Don't even have to go to like professional sports and concussions and head injuries and stuff like that, right? Most of which was implemented because of stuff that has happened in WWE. I just don't understand the point of doing stuff like this. Like, we were talking about it before we went live. Like, I understand trying to live up to the name. That the name of the show is Blood and Guts. You're supposed to be doing crazy, hardcore, like shocking things. Like, you want it to be bloodsy, gutsy. I get it. So I'm not saying like, no, don't do that type of stuff. Obviously, you want to live up to what the point of this show is. However, I think that we have seen enough in the last 17 plus years since these headshots were banned in virtually every wrestling promotion. You can still have shock value in things that you're doing, even in matches that are meant to be a little bit more hardcore, without risking serious injuries specifically to your head. Like, you don't have to do these things.
They don't.
And I said to you as well that it feels like Jack Perry is going too far. Like, he wants to keep pushing the envelope, and you can applaud that in a certain degree, but there's the controversy of the real glass, and like, yeah, it's kind of become a joke, but it's because of what came of that, right? But still, that's dangerous that you're like putting your body on the line for real glass when you don't have to do that. The effect of fake glass is the same. You know what I mean? So a chair shot to the head, there are potentially long-term repercussions of that for what, 2 seconds of a shocking move on wrestling TV? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to me that we've gotten to a point where, Corey Graves tweeted about this. It didn't say anything negative about AEW, was just kind of questioning why they were doing this and using his own personal experience, which one time being hit too much in the head resulted in him having to retire from wrestling at age 30. So I think that we can listen to what he has to say on the subject. He had to delete his tweet because the weirdo tribalists started coming after him and probably in sending him like nasty things. Like, why are we living in this universe where you can't say, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't hit each other in the head with a steel chair?
Because you're gonna have people, Sarah, who just, they want that. That is a sect of wrestling fans that they don't know really a lot of that stuff that goes into it, and if they do know, they don't care. It's that type of fan that I see when I go to the indie shows in Maine and all across New England, where that is their life. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, obviously they watch the WWE prop, but like, that's their John Cena who they're watching at 8 p.m. on a Thursday in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's just like, to me, you don't see the bigger picture, and you're not getting, you're only seeing the show that's in front of you, and you're not caring for the entire product as a whole, which actually inevitably affects the show that is in front of you. That's my big thing with it. And I get it. I love all wrestling, as we know, hence here. But I am not a fan of it anymore because we know what it leads to. I mean, for God's sakes, the greatest tragedy in wrestling history happened on my birthday. All right.
Yeah.
Like it's just stuff like that where, and we know we have to be better. And I mean, for God's sakes, like big name stars who have gone through it are even
Mhm.
saying like, yeah, no, man, not doing it. And they get it. They're saying it for a reason because they felt it. It's not
Yeah.
right.
Well, it's like you're in the entertainment business, and wrestling is all about being entertaining, whether you're getting cheered
Like
for
Trash
or booed.
Hollywood.
But there are you've gone so many years successfully, at least wrestling has, without having to do that kind of stuff. And the
Exactly.
whole thing I think is just ironic because AEW has gotten a lot of controversy surrounding them for their safety protocols and like the lack thereof per se, and Tony Khan has tried to sell to all of us that AEW is the safest wrestling company in the world, blah 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 blah, like
When we have
I know you're going to defend your company and that's what he does. Like the roof could be falling and he would tell you like, oh no, we're fine, like he's just that type of dude. But when you have stuff like this happening, and this is bad, but also a lot of the criticism that they've gotten regarding safety has been involving head injuries. So this is again the latest example of them doing things carelessly and unnecessarily and not living up to the words of what he's trying to tell you. It's like, no, we're very safe, we're this, we care about our talent. That doesn't seem like you care about your talent. It doesn't matter if you got like a shock. Oh my God, can you believe that? It's like you guys you don't have to do these things. And the tribalist fans also were trying to compare it to when Cody threw the chair recently. Can you explain to me how throwing a steel chair at someone is the same thing as literally putting your might behind a headshot? Like,
It's very different, Sarah.
yeah.
Sarah, it's very different. Okay.
I think that that's part of the problem that we talked about with the like AEW versus WWE fans that are obsessed with the other brand and hating on it
Oh,
is,
I can't.
you know, trying to defend the company that you watch against the company that you don't doesn't mean that you need to try and be like, well, but WWE did this or but AEW did this. Like, no, wrong is wrong at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you don't need to try and grasp at straws to try and compare something that's not the same. Okay? Like you can't tell me that we've seen a chair headshot in WWE recently. It's not happening. And I think a lot of people think that people are making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. But as I said to you before we went live, is it's it's not an isolated incident, first of all, and the chair shot isn't necessarily the big problem. It's like it's a bigger issue. Headshots are an issue. Long-term effects of head injuries is an issue, and it needs to be taken seriously instead of just having a shocking moment like this for a clip to go viral online. Like, is it really worth short-term memory or memory loss for Jack Perry? Is it worth getting a concussion? Is it worth like ending your career at a young age? No. That's why
No.
former wrestlers are speaking out about it. Like even Bully Ray talked about it. I'm not sure what he said, but I know that he talked about it on Busted Open. So
No, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this shouldn't be a controversial topic. It should just be like, we shouldn't be doing this. I don't know.
I know what you mean. It just, that's life.